well. Welcome to you both. Thank you. I want to play this. I'm still stunned by it, and y'all might be as well, but this is Joy Reid talking to black voters.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side.
I mean, Siaka, it's embarrassing to say to yourself, much less on public, on video.
It's actually super insulting. First of all, thank you for having me here.
Of course.
But I would like to throw a question out to a lot of black Americans watching this. Aren't we just sick and tired of being insulted like this? Every February they throw out Martin Luther King about content of character, not color of skin, but yet every election cycle, you better or you're not black enough, or as Joe said, you're not black if you don't vote. So at this point in time, we need to be just over it. We're individuals, we're human beings that our melanin count, yes, is high, but we also remember she helped lock up a lot of black men that look like me. We also remember that she didn't laugh about it, talking about Tupac's her favorite artist smoking marijuana all day. She has been a living contradiction, all the while wanting open borders and wanting us to pay for criminals who come in. And I'm sorry, even if it's the mother with her child or the MS-13 gang member, when you crossed, that was illegal. You committed a crime. Let's be honest.
Meantime, Gianna Caldwell, Black Lives Matter, not happy about this, saying, quoting here, installing Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee and an unknown vice president without any public voting process would make the modern Democratic Party a party of hypocrites. I mean, what do you think about that, Gianna? Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, who would have known that in 2024 would many of us be agreeing with Black Lives Matter, but here we are. I'll tell you, the media continues to piss on our legs and call it rain, especially people like Joy Reid and others who will continue to gaslight black Americans throughout this entire election and say, if you do not vote for Kamala Harris, you're doing X wrong. This is absolutely incorrect. We are looking for a president of the United States to lead the country. We're not looking for an identity politics candidate to lead the country. And that's what black Americans are going to be facing this election cycle. They know that they've been bleeding black voters under Joe Biden, and Donald Trump has been gaining them. He's been going into those communities and looking to get those folks onto his side. They need to do the real work, and they've not been doing that for decades. They've been failing our community.
And to Gianna's point here, I want to put this poll up. This is the New York Times Siena poll, and you talk about this. You've got support among black voters. New York Times Siena 23% in favor of Donald Trump. NPR Marist 34%. He pulled 8% of the vote, Siaka, in 2020.
Well, and one thing that's coming around, and it was just mentioned a second ago, is that there's people coming over from the black community because the reality is I just had a 4-month-old baby. The reality is we want to be able to buy a home. We want to be safe to buy a home. We also want economic opportunity. When we look over at the Biden-Harris administration, they're more focused on people who aren't American citizens than we are. Right. So let's focus on that. Let them talk about their games all day. Let them try to talk about she wasn't a border czar. Let them talk. Let them bring up and just expose her to the world. We want to see it because it's terrible. Yeah. Let's not hide from it. Her record is Joe's record. Let's stop wanting to be like, well, what did Kamala just did?
They're the ones trying to hide for it.
Exactly.
Here we go. This is the New York Post. Better served by Republican policies. Black men reveal why they are no longer Democrats. Mark Fisher co-founded the Rhode Island Black Lives Matter chapter in 2020. 4 years later, he's voting for Trump. He says the quality of life in predominantly black Democrat stronghold cities made him realize that left-wing policies do not serve their constituents. So we've got 30 seconds for you here, Gianna, but you have echoed this same sentiment.
Chicago, New York, LA, you look at black voters who especially have been swamped by the migrant crisis, the loss of resources in our community. People have woken up to the reality of the Democratic Party, and I don't think people are willing to take it anymore. Donald Trump comes with a very unique message of economic opportunity that people want to see because they experienced it under his watch.
Yeah, Gianna Caldwell, Siaka Massaquoi, thank you for coming on. Congratulations on your new son.
Thank you, sir.